everybody, good morning and welcome back to Reaper Pro Tips with me, your host and Disembodied Hands, Quinty, Disembodied Beard, John, and Kiki, who's going to sit there and loudly chew her bully stick on stream. Hello, everybody. Whew, we're back. We're back. Hey, Spike, and everyone. Yep. We are here. We are here. We have to end maybe a little early today because, of course, I have people coming to the house for something, and, of course, they kind of messed up their time, which means they're coming a little early. It's just, it never ends. It never ends. That's all I'm saying. Let's see here. I have a bunch of crap sitting here, taking up space on my... Oh, wait. That was supposed to go somewhere else. On my table. Because I didn't put everything away last time because I was bad. There we go. Better. Better. Excellent. Much better. But hey, how's it going, everybody? How was your week? Thank God it's almost over. And I have a tiny brazier. Hey, dog father. My glasses are dirty. Everybody's like on mute. Everybody's like, okay, we're logged in, bye. You dropped your tablet and it still works. That's good. Curtico. 4 social events in the next 3 days. Oh, yuck. Ugh. How did you get roped into that? Alrighty. I assume some of them are family, so you couldn't say no. I have a tiny little, now that I have primed it and I'm looking at it, I have a tiny little kind of bit of a support left here. There it is. Good. Let me throw them out. You people. Who wants those? Who wants those? So I have to think about this. I'm going to want to paint the underside of it for sure, but then I might want to glue it down. There, I knew it fit in a particular way. And then probably start painting stuff around it. So let's do that. Let's block in the dark side, the underside of the brazier. And we'll probably do the rest of it in bronze. And since she's in metallics, we get to use metallics for this. So let's see here. Where's my walnut? There we are. You would get whined at forever. It's sad that they're all disrespecting it apparently all at once. Green users need coffee too, huh? So we will do our usual 4 drops of walnut because we're probably going to use it in lining also and shading. So I may as well just have the 4 drops. Alrighty. Oh. Pop that over there. So I should be streaming tomorrow on my personal stream. We'll probably keep working on this Chica because we did a lot of progress on her and I want to get more of her hair done and whatever else I feel like doing. That's exactly how I am, Cornico. I'm an introvert that can act like an extrovert, but it costs me sanity points until I curl up into a little ball and go rah at everybody. Alrighty, so we're just going to paint all of the underside of this dark because nobody's going to care. It's all going to be kind of the inside. I've even got a little bit of 3D print artifacts here that didn't get trimmed because they were on the inside. Who cares? An invite to a paint party. Yeah, you should totally go and support the other girl. I agree with Kuro. Oh, I'm an architect on Myers-Briggs. Although who knows if that's... I don't know if it's like other tests where you take it once and that's it, or if it can shift over time, because I haven't taken the Myers-Briggs for a very long time. Although I think I may have retaken it recently and got an advocate instead. Which they're very close to each other. Don't remember. I like the strengths a lot more than I like the Myers-Briggs. They're all measuring different things, right? But I tend to be somebody who likes a granular assessment rather than a generalist. My Enneagram definitely influences how I react to things, but it doesn't tell the whole story. The glitter is squid ink. You shifted over time? Yeah. Nice, Kodiak. Nice. And yeah, Shiloh puppies pull. I blame it on the Malamute background. They are all pullers. Keeks is... It'll be a work in progress. If she's anything at all like Kiki. I've gotten Kiki down to just a light pull. And if she pulls heavier beyond a certain point, I just stop walking. And if she won't slack up, then I walk backwards. But it takes a lot of patience to do that. And a lot of people are in a hurry or don't have the patience. And even then, you know, I expect maybe by the time she's 2, she'll understand a little better and won't pull as much. But all right, so we're gonna paint the inside of this ring as well. So we're shading everything that's just inside. So we don't care about it. It's essentially undersides. But yeah, personality tests always look at kind of what they're trying to measure. I like stuff that I can actually like act on, so the Clifton Strengths is great for me because it not only like tells me like how and why I react the way I do, but also like how to be more effective. How to be a more effective Anne. Since it's based on, you know, building success off of the personality traits you're strongest in. Cool. Yeah, look at it. It might be, for me it was a real eye-opener, Zachariah. Hopefully you'll get something out of it. But it's I found it good at figuring out when I'm malfunctioning. Like, figuring out why I was recently just spinning my wheels on the book and things like that. it turns out that some strengths need for you to define a really, like, a clear goal. Or you'll just sit there. So, like, all of us who like to have a bunch of different projects going at once, which is a lot of us, but never seem to make progress on anything, or you look at your progress, at all your projects, and you just can't, you just don't, you don't paint. Sometimes it can be that if you have a particular type of personality, it can be that you really need to commit to one goal clearly in your brain. And if you don't give your brain that signal, you're just going to keep spinning your wheels. And that was me. Because part of me was still dissatisfied and wanted to work on something else. So I had to send my brain the strong message of, no, we are going to work on this project. That's it. Stop whining. There we go. So we got all the inside painted dark. That's great. The sooner we can attach it to the rock, the better. Although I do need to make sure that when I do attach it, I've got enough room. I think I've got enough room to paint everything, though. There's really no room to pin this unless you pinned it up through the middle and down into the head. Which you could do. I mean, there's not a lot of room, so chances are you might see the pin, but you'd have to really look for it, probably. Or I can just glue the sucker and pray. It really depends, right? Like I said, if I was going to ship this somewhere, then I would definitely pin it. But since I'm hand carrying it, if it goes to Ron, it's just going to be hand carried. Then it's not as important because it's not going to be being thrown around anywhere in the mail. And the 4 feet will balance pretty well. I need to find exactly the place where I can get contact on all 4. And then we'll get our glue out here. Now this is where these feet will not contact perfectly, so you definitely want to use either a medium or a gel. The gel is going to be less strong as far as preventing the model if it takes a hit from the side. This is actually pretty important with super glue to know. So if you're putting something on and there's a possibility that it takes a hit from the side specifically, then this stuff's more fragile. This stuff is better on like shearing blows. But if you're putting like, if you're not expecting a side hit, like if on this I'm expecting it to fall here and push it further into a socket, for example, you could use like gel on that, arguably. So it's a small distinction, but it, yeah, it makes sense, Zachariah. But yeah, but it's still useful to know that this stuff, the green label stuff, is better if it's a part of the model that might take a sideways hit. That said, we're going to use that for these little feet. Yeah, you have to be honest and answer from your gut. Yeah, and that, I would say, yeah. I've found in general that that's true of any personality test, right? Thormel. And bouncing isn't bad for some people, Kroniko. Like, some people have brains that easily shift from one thing to another. But yeah, that definitely bears repeating, even though we've all heard it and we all think we know. But yeah, when you're taking the test, actually the Clifton test, I find, is maybe a little bit less gameable now, Thormel, since they have a timer on the questions. So if you take too long to think about something, it actually gives you a 0. It actually doesn't count the question. I don't know if it like will kind of DQ the test if you have too many of those, but no, there's it. Yeah, see, that's what I found the opposite to be, because I actually hesitated on one question because I really was right in the middle on it, and it just went, yep. Yeah, they don't let you just think about it anymore. Because actually thinking about it can actually make you double think, right? So apparently they decided for accuracy, and one assumes that they've got, tens of thousands of people every year taking these tests and they're assessing it. But you're supposed to make your gut judgment as just a fast decision and go. I don't know, I guess if you knew about Clifton Strengths a lot, or if you, a lot of the questions though really weren't, I don't know. Yeah, I'd have to see how, maybe it was more gameable back in the day. Although it seems silly to me to quote unquote game it, because no strength is bad. No strength is bad, no strength is good. All strengths are just like an assessment of how you can be successful. I guess if you really didn't want to be an X or Y, like didn't want to have a particular, if you knew enough about the test, but I don't know. So yeah, it seems weird to me. I guess some people out there would be scared of taking that test. Yeah, I agree, Hayden Marvel. Yeah, the fast thinking is by far the more accurate. The slow thinking is where we can throw a lot of wrenches in. All right, let's see here. I want my long snozzle, so that I'm putting little bits of glue down. Hey, Daffodweir. But yeah, I took it like fast and tried to be honest, because my whole goal for taking it was actually to just help myself as a creative, and it has been worth its weight in gold for me. But I am also somebody who loves those sorts of things. Like, I'm gonna use my pokey tool to actually clear out my long glue snozzle here. Totally valid way to do it. Hurry, Crowley, hurry. Yeah, actually, Thormel, what I've been told is don't take it again. The first one actually should be the most accurate, unless you were really young when you took it, and now you're much older. But yeah, it's odd that they had you retake it. But what I also found, though, is that I would have bet that my empathy was high. And my empathy is one of my lowest traits. But some strengths will mirror others. And what I learned when I really went into it was that some of my thinking strengths will emulate that. Because I will empathize with people on an intellectual level, but not a gut level. So, yeah, it's interesting, though. Yeah. Fair if you don't believe in it. It's fair. If you think it's bullhooey, that is absolutely fair. A lot of people don't like those. David refuses to take it. He just doesn't like personality tests in general. Secret introverts. Yeah. Oh, that's terrible. Yeah, see, that's and so that your boss totally did it wrong, essentially. The whole point, introverts mobilize, hide. Yeah, of course it will result in terrible groups, because then everybody is trying to figure out what they did wrong on the test to like make better results, and that's like not the point at all. So your boss essentially was like didn't understand the premise at all of the test, which is the premise is to like, to make you be more effective in the way you really are, not to try to change yourself into something else so that you can be like something that he thinks the job needs. That's very silly. Wow. No wonder you have a bad opinion of it. If I had gone through that, I would have a crappy opinion of it too. That's just really silly. All right, I've got little dots of glue on the feet. Now I've got to try to find good place. Good place where all 4 feet can come down. Yeah, that's a good place. I'm going to take it and kind of put it upright. Maybe scooch it over just a tad. I've got a small area, small time period until it sets. Got all my 4 feet in contact. Good. Now it's setting. It's a little bit over on this side, but that's all right. I could try to scooch it. But it's setting up now, so it's not going to be amenable to... And I'm going to have to touch up because I've got glue. You see the shiny glue. That's good enough, though. More or less squared on the head. Yeah. She did not get it. And really, I mean, the point is that all of the... No matter how wonky you may feel your... You know, like you may get a really kind of one that doesn't look like it would be good, quote unquote, in a corporate environment. But in reality, any of them are good. It's just, you know, it just depends, right? What she may have discovered is that she had skills people in positions where she had put different people or whatever. But even then, it's like... I mean, a good example is my writing coach, Becca. Becca has not a single executing strength in her top 10, but she gets crap loads of stuff done. So it's like you don't have to have, like me, I have focus and discipline, which is kind of one of the arrangements that feed on each other to get things done. But you don't have to have that to be productive. Every strength has an action point. Yeah. You enjoy it. You're social, but maybe not extrovert. You know, all right? Depending on how you define that. Like, I've heard extrovert defined as people who take energy from social interactions. I definitely, like, I can enjoy walking into a con and relating to people, but I do get exhausted after a while with the social interactions. So I score myself more as an introvert. Because I don't truly get energy from interacting with people. No, you're a total introvert, yeah. And most of us are somewhere in the midpoint on that scale. Like, that's what a lot of people don't understand, is that introvert to extrovert is a scale. It's a sliding scale. So it's not like you're an introvert and that's it. You're at this dot here. You're somewhere along that scale, right? Hey Slayer, how's it going? We are waiting for our glue to set, and I guess I'll pick some bronze colors. Oh no, my metallics are in the closet. That's because that's where they live. Hold on. Let me grab them. Where are you, Grandbag Metallics? Is that you? Yeah. Good job. You enjoy ReaperCon? Yes. Yes. Exhausted at the end of every day, yep. I think that's a lot of people. I think we have a lot in common on that. Alright. I need there's my pearl white. Need something I can use. That's brass. That might work. I like tarnished brass in general. Hi, Bubba. You want to say hi to the peoples? Do you want to say hi to the peoples? Be a lap puppa? Do you want to be a lap puppa? Come on up. Come on up. No? You don't want to say hi to the peoples? You just want scruffles? You just want scruffles? Yeah? But you're so pretty. You should come up. Bubba. She's like, no, shy. Shy. resting bitch face. Yeah, 2 weeks after to isolate. Yeah, that makes sense, Moonlight. Kiki, come on, ba-ba-ba. Come on, ba-ba-ba. Come on, ba-ba-ba. Ba-ba-ba-ba. There we go. Yay. There's my girl. There's my girl. There. Good girl. Yeah. Yeah, you can just take over the stream for a second. Okay. Yes, hugs. Good hugs. Thank you. Thank you. Good girl. Good girl. Yeah. Oh, belch. That was a bully stick belch. Good girl. I gave her a super thick bully stick this morning, so she's annoyed at me because she likes it when they're easy to chew and she can just buzz through them. Oh, where's a good color for a highlight? I have other paint companies' colors. I don't know where my new gold went. All my metallic paints have just been, you know, like, shifted over the face of the earth, I swear. We'll see what we can do. And I'm going to shade it with regular paint, so. Bully stick belch. Not have your face bit at. Kiki's a lap girl for sure. She was always a snuggler even when she was a baby. Some dogs aren't. But Kiri wasn't. Kiri was not a snuggler. She was wasn't comfortable. She had more of a social, like a kind of a sphere of Kiri around her where she wasn't comfortable if you got too into her zone. But Kiki will come up. I actually love it when she comes up and puts her head in my lap. That's my favorite. You'll get there, Kodiak. You just have to go through the shark. Go through shark time. Shark time. It's like Shark Week, except with puppies. It's like shark half a year. Shiloh Shepherd. Yeah, she was for a second there, DKS. Oh dear, Cornico. Alright, so we're going to use tarnished brass for this, because I can actually find it. Also, it's a good color for bronze. Going to be doing a video within the next couple months on the YouTubes and Patreon about working with metallics. This is very cloggy. So cloggy! This is an old paint. My label is like almost gone. Yeah, right now, today is getting the PDF done for the Fast Faces video that I put out. Wanted to also accentuate, although I actually said this when there was a comment that I had to respond to, but all the stuff that I'm doing for the YouTube and the $2 tier Patreon is all specifically 2832 millimeter, you know, gaming scale. Wow, this is like getting thick. All right, I think it's time to actually thin this one out. My paint is old enough that it is quite goopy and needs help. So I'm going to throw some water into it. That'll help it. It'll help it come out of the bottle better. Let me grab my water. So as I mentioned, I do about 20 drops. Oh. Sometimes they may not seem like they're going to fit, but that's usually just because you have an air bubble. See that air bubble? There we go. You can tap that down a little bit. There, now we have enough room. Often a cloggy paint will just start, depending on how it's been resting, it may have a glob closer up to the neck. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. There we go. 20 total. And you can see that it's so thick right up there. So we'll have to shake this up. Get my lid. And then hopefully we'll be able to work with it. Ah, Friday the 16th at noon Central, huh? Nobody mentioned it to me, Quindy. So now I will know. We should remind everybody again on next Friday. I'm going to shake this up, and then I'm actually going to take the top off again, and I'm going to look at it. It's Labor Day, right? Like always. So now if we look at it, we see how much smoother that looks. It doesn't have like little peaks and globs in it. It's a much smoother paint. I feel like this is pretty good, so I'm going to put that back in. And I will try to squeeze it out. Might need to do another pokey tool. Still Labor Day. All right, good. In that case, I am golden because my dog sitter has the correct dates. We're all good. Yay. Otherwise, it would have been a mad scramble. Or maybe Anne not coming to ReaperCon. Ah. It definitely got thick up at the top. Here, I'll show you. Like, it's coming out in little lumps. When you see that, that's when you want to stop and add water to your paint. So that was still the stuff that was trapped up here that hadn't gone back in solution down here. So from here on out, it's looking a little more fluid there at the tail end, but from here on out, it should be a good consistency. However, I'm just going to add some water to that. And I'm going to grab a color to base coat the brazier, undercoat it. Yeah, because the model is metallic. She's shaded metallics. All this stuff is metallics. It just looks like NMM because I've shaded it appropriately, but it is absolutely metallics. You can see it when I get close. So yeah, that means putting metallics on the brazier as well. There we go. We'll see how that will work. That's because 28 is usually a better scale for NMM. I don't like how metallics look on a lot of 28s, so I don't do them. The exception is when there's big enough spaces, and even then this one I feel is okay, but yeah, I really feel that metallics don't look as good on 28. I don't give a crap. I just put, I actually, did I do that? Did I do that yet? No, I don't. I seem to recall doing a video where I talked about all the myths about like metallic paint and brushes, but it's never been true for me. I think it was the paint water one. I think that I mentioned one of the myths where, switch your paint water is the myth. If you're doing metallics, as you can see, I'm not bothering to have two cups of water. Yeah. You have a few days before the kind of panic. You don't have to panic, Quindy. We've already embarrassed you sufficiently this past year. But yeah, I just use my same brushes for metallics. The only time that I find that is true, that you should maybe consider switching it up, Moonlight, is if you're using solvent-based metallics. And then it's just like any other solvent-based paint. Solvents can, over time, affect your brushes in a different way. That's why a lot of people will use Taklons with oils. Because they're harsh, right? And natural hairs are natural hairs, and so they can become brittle over time if you throw too many harsh chemicals at them. So that I believe in. You need the whole year for general panic. Panic painted. Yep. I'm trying to get things done in advance this year, Moonlight. In advance. So that if it comes down to it, I'm using russet brown, guys, by the way, as the basis for this bronze. It's a good covering, darker brown. But yeah, so I don't care about what brush I use with my metallics if they're acrylic metallics. Alrighty. Ah, okay. Yeah, if you use cheap brushes, then it doesn't make sense to really care. But I don't ever use solvent-based metallics. I don't like solvents in general. And when I did work with oils, I had a particular sable brush that I was keeping for fine detail that I would just use with the oils. But that's the only time that I care. Like, otherwise, I use the same brushes for everything. I mean, I'm pretty brutal on my brushes anyway, so... The poor things. They think they're, like, going to a good home when they come home with me, and they're totally wrong. Oh, good, Crows. You're on Quindy's good list, then. Yeah, moth. Mm-hmm. It's very good for glowy effects. When you want that hellfire green, that's when you reach for moth. I want some pure white. I want to make sure that the interior here is really, really white, because it's going to be, like, there will be a little bit of color for sure. Well, we finally seem to have gotten past our rains, so maybe our backyard can actually dry out and Kiki won't have mucky feet for the next umpteen zillion years. The maids today, they're going to walk in, I'm going to be like, just so you know, everything is mud. You're going to have to wash the floor twice. So I'm not going to do any OSL because of the metallics, and also because it's daylight. I've painted her as if it's daylight. So, but I will make the inside of the brazier pure white, and then I will put, whatever I do the flame color, I'll put that color on the inside. So not really OSL, kind of OSL, really limited OSL. Depends on what you like to paint, seriously. And I like to tell people, always have brown liner, always have walnut brown. Rich leather, obviously, I use for everything. But otherwise, it tends to be either, if you like to mix, go for pure pigments or more intense colors. If you don't like to mix, then concentrate on triads of colors that you enjoy. And I consider russet brown, the color that I did the brazier in, I consider this a must-have too. So there are several browns that I consider the must-haves. But yeah, I find seriously that it's a very individual choice as far as the must-haves. My white watered down way too much. But like, if you really like pale blues or blue grays, go to Pathfinder and pick up like Akata and Irison. If you really like fiery red oranges, pick up the Magma and Lava Triad, you know. Or if you want to be really practical about it, ask yourself what your next painting projects are going to be and buy accordingly. So I'm going to just bring the white back here where I've gone over it a little bit. Just want to make sure there's a nice solid white on the interior here. Yeah, rich indigo is a very pretty color. Really underrated. Volcano brown. That's good though. I mean, it was a good color that had a long life in pro paints, and then in MSP it just didn't sell. When it doesn't sell, it gets canceled. Not many people painting lava rock, apparently. Oh, the corporeal shadow, yeah. But you can mix that, right? I've told you guys how to mix that a couple times. If it's corporeal shadow. It's pretty much a 50-50 mix. Since it's not in print anymore, I can tell people. It's pretty much a 50-50 mix of walnut brown and sapphire blue. You could get even darker with it if instead of sapphire you used something like Ritterlich. Because sapphire does have a little bit of white in it. But if you want that muted feel, then stick to the sapphire. There we go. Just want to get that white there. Then maybe, I don't know if you're on my Patreon, seriously, but Chibi Amy's daughter just painted a white dragon that turned out amazing. I think she was using like indigo or ultramarine as the shadow. It's a beautiful dragon. I should just show you guys. Beautiful, beautiful dragon. Where are we? See if I can find it real quick. I think it's in works in progress. Oh, there it is. Yeah. White can be super hard, but this is such a good dragon. Look at how beautiful that is, guys. I love how she faded the blues into be darker toward the muzzle and down the legs. Yeah, exactly. Right, Moonlight. It's the artist's black. Yeah, so that's Chibi Amy's daughter. But it's definitely, I think it's an ultramarine, an ultramarine shadow. It seems like this color, very ultramarine. But yeah, it just looks great. It's fantastic. Definitely taking a lot of time, but it's really nice. So that's a great example of a white dragon. That's probably the best example of a white dragon paint job I've seen in a long time. since Michelle Farnsworth, it's a Creature Caster entry. Okay, we've got that. We've got most of our base coat here. We can actually put our metallics on. I think we're good. Making sure I've got everything. It's a good base coat. For metallics, you always want to put on a darker base coat underneath it. It's going to just help it be shinier. Alright, yeah, my metallics are fairly thick now. We'll just put them on over the top. We're going to actually shade them down with some greens, I think. You see that shiny color? I like that color. Oh, yeah. Dragon wings on the membranes. Membranes are the hardest thing. It's why I hate wings. Kodiak. But I tend to do... On dragons, I don't do flesh-colored wings. I tend to do a lighter undercolor on them. And sometimes I'll highlight toward the center of that lighter color with a fleshy color where the wing is stretching out. But how you paint the membranes is really, to me, it's very dependent on the sculpt. Because some of the sculpts are going to have those horizontal lines going across, and some are going to have more of a skin pattern. Some are going to be smooth. That really I always switch it up depending. Oh, for the wyvern? The one we painted on stream? The one I have sitting right over here? This one. And I always paint the back sides and front sides of membranes separately. But, I mean, this is just a quick wet blend, because the underside isn't as important. Yeah, it really just is a personal preference. I always like making it lighter toward the outside of the membranes, because that's where, for the underside, like this, it's where light is going to be passing through, wherever it's thinner. With textured stuff like this, I really do like just doing a quick wet blend, because it's enough to pick up some of the texture, but trying to paint all of this texture would be really a pain. You could put a wash over it, but then you'd have a dark shadow over some of the lightest areas, which I don't like. So... yeah. It's very personal preference. Every artist does it different. I mean, if you look at Larry did the wings same color both sides on this dragon. Most of his dragons, I think. But I always like the contrasting color on the underside, or at least a little bit of a lighter. Oh, bye, Crowley. Yep, see you around. So we've got our bronze coming around here. That is really not super shiny. I wonder if I thinned a little too much and I need to go a little stronger with it. Sometimes you'll get not a very strong, and I'm going to switch brushes too. Something a little fatter. Sometimes you won't get as much of a metallic look. If you thin your metallic paint, it'll just look a little powdery or dusty over the top. Then you can always just brush real quick, thicker metallic over the top like I'm doing here. Yep, that's what we're doing today, Richard. There we go, it's a little shinier. Yeah, sometimes when you thin it too much, you can lose the flake, lose the shininess of the metallic. Part of me hates putting a thicker paint on this, but I mean, it is metallics and it's not a lot of texture on this brazier, so it shouldn't matter. But I want it to be fairly shiny, so when we start popping in shadows, it makes a difference. All gold tone metallics that I know of right now are mica based. I saw somebody say that there were aluminum gold tone flakes, and I questioned that and asked them to name some, and I got no response. So I assume they may have been, either they didn't see my question or they weren't sure, double checked, and found out it was not the case. Alrighty. Let's do some shading. I'm going to do a dark green over the outside. What do we do? I think I want to do kind of a combo. Let me find a... We're going to do a combo. We're going to do pine green and ancient oak because I want it dark, but I want it halfway between these. I don't want it as muted as ancient oak or as bright as pine. Fanatic. Oh, are those metallics? Well, silver metallic aluminum flake is very common. I'm curious if there are actual colored flakes now. Let's go do 3 drops of ancient oak, 1 drop of pine, guys. I don't pay attention to Army Painter typically because I'm not a big, like most of their products, I'm not as much of a fan of. But if they have aluminum colored aluminum flakes, that would be interesting. It would make sense because coverage is king, right? Like that's most lines, and Army Painter is certainly in the camp of wants to give painters the 1-coat coverage. So if anybody was trying to work with a colored aluminum flake, I could totally see them being the people to do it. Alright, within this, I'm going to throw some brush on sealer into it. Let's see here. Fanatic metallics. Looking up. Not getting any with the Google search. Okay, here we go. High quality aluminum flakes. Yeah, they've got some They've got colored. Maybe I'll order it. It's not out till April. Looks like... So bronze, 2 golds, really dark copper. That's a nice color. Bright copper, and then otherwise it's going to be regular silver, which is nothing new with... nothing new. Oh, they've got actually a blue metal, a gunmetal. I like the dark blue metallics. Yeah, maybe I'll pick these up. It'll be good to see how they are. Right, I'm not sure either, Richard. That's what I want to see. This is a small metallic set on pre-order. It's specifically... It's on Gnomish Bazaar. But they'll kill me with shipping. Unless I order a lot. But now that I know what it's called, I can look it up. Yeah, whenever there's mica, the different colors are created through coatings, so not surprised. Remember with aluminum though, guys, if you're a brush slicker, just probably don't do it. That's putting like metals in your body, actual metals. Mica is inert. It'll just travel through you, but you really don't need to be putting aluminum in your body. So if you're a brush slicker, I don't know that I would use aluminum metallics. Right. I find that metallics, various metallics are good for various purposes. And the metallic that I reach for is going to depend on what I'm trying to do. I don't think there's such a thing as a one size fits all metallic, because I feel like every metallic flake has strengths and weaknesses. You can reach for those aluminum flakes because they cover really well, and you can use them because of that. You can use them to do things like micro effects like scratches and abrasion. But if you need them to like layer or to do any of that, it's going to be no way. If you're trying to do some nice highlighting, they're going to fight you. Alright, I have that bunch of green mixed up. Now I'm going to actually pull a bunch over and thin it a bit. Quindy. If you really want to be an aluminum cyborg, I mean, I think that you would want to be like a titanium cyborg or something. I have titanium in me now, thanks to my little surgery, or little, it wasn't surgery, it was my little procedure. Yeah, for some reason my metallics are looking really powdery. I wonder if it's the prime that I did. I did a super fast prime this morning. It was pretty cold out. Alright, well we're gonna paint some green stuff over this. I'm actually gonna hit, I think, the whole thing, then I'll come back in. I want it to be like a really, you see how that takes it really into bronze. The minute you put the green on there, it's no longer brass. You throw that tarnish on there. Changes the whole feel. Baby steps. Of course. Yeah, I'll try to find a place I can pre-order it in the States. I like to keep up on the new tech, so. And that was my biggest complaint, really, before with using gold tones, was that you couldn't find an aluminum. Grab this. You couldn't find an aluminum for gold tones. So if there's going to be one, I should grab it. Again, I tend to prefer them for base coating. Aluminium. I don't know. People say it differently. Aluminum. 10% tin Lloyd alloy. Yep. Yep. You know that only one of the only documented cases, modern cases of lead poisoning, Richard, was somebody essentially who sat in his basement lined with lead miniatures, like filing and working on lead miniatures all the time. Like was that person, right? So just please wear a mask. Don't inhale your lead dust. Hi, Modifius, with a decent raid, with nice raid. Thanks. We're working on metallics today. I am. We were just talking about the new Army Painter ones that claim to be that have aluminum flake even for the colored metallics, which wasn't a thing before. So I'll probably I just sprayed myself with stuff because it's that day. It's the Friday that's actually Monday for me. Oh, cool! Miniature painting competition judging stream. Super! Well, here, let me show you what we're doing. So, here on Reaper, in the mornings on weekdays, I stream almost every day. And we've been working on this model. We actually put her aside for a while we were working on other pieces for Halloween and Christmas, and then we took her back up. So this is a little 3D printed brazier I decided to do, and I sculpted the griffin head. So I do a rotation of 6 different figures throughout the week so that we're always working on a different model any given day of the week. And this is Caerindra, who's one of our ones that we're working on right now. Other things, let's see, do we have anybody else who's really good looking? I guess Vampire Barbarian. We did a simple kind of extrapolating on his base with stones. We were doing some sculpting. So we used some base sculpting and stuff too. And then this guy's almost done. We just have to finish that basing. And then we'll start a new model on his day. And we're working on, when we start, I tend to paint in sections. So we're working on skin tones on this model. You can see she's otherwise completely untouched. Yeah, and then the other one's probably the other one that's like a lot is the Mouselings. This is from ReaperCon last year. So we finished Mousy Wraith, and then the little mouse guard type who's fighting, or about to fight him. We've been working on her lantern. But now we're getting close to done on those two, and I'll have to decide whether I'm actually going to base them. But yes, they're all Reaper figures. I work for Reaper. This is Reaper Stream. But welcome, everybody. Alrighty, so we've been working on the bronze here. It was brass until I added the green wash over it. I am definitely noticing a lot of soak-in. So if you prime something out in cold weather, like I had to do this morning, you can get a temperature shift that the primer didn't take very well. And one of the first signs of that is kind of a powdery looking. When you put the paint on, it looks good going on. But then when you've added it, when it dries, it gets this powdery look to it where it's not, you can see it's just not as shiny as it was. And that means essentially your primer has not cured. It's absorbing some of the paint. Oh yeah, the Mouselings, they're adorable. You're right. That's cool. Excellent. So when that happens, there's not a lot you can do. As you add more layers of paint, the resin in the paint, which is going to be like a latex, acrylic, vinyl kind of resin. They're not exactly that anymore, except acrylic is probably still acrylic. But there's no actual vinyl or latex in most paints these days. It's proprietary resins that mimic those things because allergens. But eventually, the resins will cure and build up enough that they'll essentially get rid of this problem. Honestly, if we hadn't been using metallics, I probably wouldn't have noticed it nearly as fast. Okay, just checking. It was kitten talk. I see kitten talk. All right, so I'm going to take my walnut brown and my russet brown, and I'm going to turn these into layering colors so that I can shade down around the details down here. And we'll just keep working at it. So probably I'll just combine these, actually. I want kind of a darker, richer brown. I don't want as dark as walnut. There we go. So that's a good kind of that color right there. Kind of a charcoal brown. And I want to just use it to bring out some of the details down here. But yeah, that's what we do here. And I answer questions. Like, even though we paint on this stream, it really isn't like all about just what we're talking about. Feel free to ask questions that quote unquote derail the conversation. That's actually our bread and butter here. I've been painting for decades, and I usually, I also designed Reaper's paint line, Master Series, from pretty much the ground up. So there are very few questions about the hobby that I cannot answer. So another sign that you've got that kind of absorptive primer is if you try to put like a fine line down and it spreads out, then you can be almost sure that you've got actually a primer issue. I'm just going back and forth. I'm grabbing some of my metallic and actually doing some wet blending. There's no reason you can't do that. Wet blending works with non-metallic paints, so it's going to work just as well with metallics. But yeah, we like derailments because it gives us something new to talk about. Otherwise, if nobody asks questions, then I do just paint and explain what I'm doing. But we like it. We like it when people have questions and we can educate. Yes, we do a lot of puppy or kitten talk. We do a lot of motivation, kind of psychology, personality talk, because there's a lot of people who get stuck or, have problems with being blocked or motivation with painting. And I'm into that stuff, so I like talking about it. Mostly talk about pets and food and books and movies and occasionally painting. Yes. Yeah, this paint is definitely, this metallic is definitely getting a little bit not as strong as I would like. That's all right, though. Yeah. Thanks, Turgeon. Yeah. Yeah, because they're going to be here, like the people I'm expecting are going to be here in 10. So I have to get the Keekster put into the office here with me so that she doesn't bug people. And I have to, like, open the door. So yeah, we probably should call it on that reminder so that I don't have to deal with the sudden knock at the door plus explosive barking plus, trying to end the stream. So let's just call this. We're going to continue to work on this next time. I am getting a little bit of shine back in there on that side. So we'll keep working with it. We'll mix some, I'll try to find my new gold so we can bring in some brighter highlights, and I'll also be using pearl white mixed in. But that's not bad. That's not a bad start. Yeah, and then next week we're good. On Tuesday, I think I have my MRI, so I will, the last of the medical stuff, hopefully, of the medical stuff will be on Tuesday. But I will be here Monday, and I will be here Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, and pretty much up until I go to Arizona to visit my folks. So, thank you, everybody. Sorry for the disruption at the end of the week for the stream. But thank you all for coming and hanging out. And I will be on my own stream tomorrow at 3:30 p.m. Central Time, USA Central Time, at twitch.tv/paintingbig. And we'll work more on Christine's Wood Elf Lady. Get that hair done. Maybe work more on the skin. Yeah, you have a great weekend too, Moonlight. If you escape the party. Okay, sounds good, everybody. Thanks very much. All right, have a good one, and I will talk to you soon. Bye-bye.